evam tattvabhyasa nasmi namenaham ityapariṣeṣam vishuddham kevalam utpadyate. Aviparjayad vishuddham kevalam utpadyate jnana. Says, before this, yes, karya karana kriya sakshi purusha. What is purush? Is a sakshi. Sakshi of karya karana. Karya karana is body and indriyas. Karya karana is body and indriyas. Body is karya, because body is an effect. Effect of what? Panchabhutas. And karanas, all the karanas. A triyodash karana. Right? Triyodash karana. Sakshi is a witness. Can't I see my own body? Gentlewoman, can I see my own body or not? At least some parts. Even if I can't see my back, doesn't matter, but I can infer that I must be having a back since I have a belly, as I told you earlier. Right? I can see myself. I can see my own body. In fact, I can feel my own body. I can feel my own body. I can feel my own body as heavy or light. Does the body feel itself as heavy or light? Can it be the case that the body feel itself heavy or light? No. I feel, oh, my arm is heavy. My arm is hurt. Does the hurt arm know itself as a hurt arm? No. I perceive. And if I perceive my body, that means I am a distinct element, distinct principle from the principle called body. Though they somehow happen to be united. And they are also identified sometimes. Like when I say I am this much tall, or this much heavy, or this much broad. I identify myself with body, and yet I know that I am not my body. Isn't it? I know I am not my body merely. At least I am not my merely body. I am something more and besides. I am something more and besides. If I say I am happy, I don't mean to say my body is happy. Though certainly there can be bodily pleasures, I don't deny them. But those pleasures are also mental pleasures. Mental pleasures. Pleasure and pain belong to the soul, belong to the mind. At the appearance level, the Sankhya would take a still higher position. At the moment I am at the ordinary level. I derive pleasure. Just as I derive pleasure from eating bread or from taking tea. This pleasure, though it arises from body, is yet mental. All my pain and pleasure and so on, mental states, belong to the mind, though they are caused by the body. They may be caused by the body, but in their swarupa, they are mental. Isn't it? So, karya karana kriya sa. Yes, please. This I is Purusha. No. At the moment, I am saying at the ordinary level. After all, Purush becomes a Sakshi. Purush has been called Sakshittvasya Purushasya. Viparyasyad. Sakshittvasya Purushasya. Madhyastam, Drishtatvam, Akatribhavasya. This we have done in perhaps the 19th Kārikā. Tasmacha viparyasad sakshitvamasya purushasya. Sakshi. Tasmad ye bhautika shira panyadiyo, and then the bhautik creations like, which are made of bhutas, shirah pani, head, pani, hands, etc. Ahankarika, and which are born from ahankar, shavanadiyo, vachanadiya, shavanadiyo, hearing sense, etc., and words, etc. Panchatanamatra. Are you following, Raman? The Panchatanamatra, Shabda, etc., and hearing sense. See, there is correspondence. From ahankar arise ekadashendriya and Panchatanamatra. And Panchatanamatra become the objects of the 5 cognitive senses which form part of the group called Ekadasha. There is correspondence. And they arise from the same principle called ahankar. So that there is correspondence. So the Sankhya scheme is not utterly illogical. There is a logic behind it. There is a sense, a terrible sense behind it. Yes, Raman, you want to say? Okay. Ye cha ahankarika shavanadiyo vachanadiya sankalpa abhimana adhyavasayascha, and sankalpa abhimana adhyaya, sankalpa manas, abhimana ahankar, adhyavasaya buddhi, te lakshan viparjaya naham nashto prakritya. This I will not do. So he is a witness of the whole of these things. I told you, buddhi is evident to us as such a faculty which has determinative knowledge, which ascertains things. Just as I say, here I have my doubt. But then I say, on this I am sure. So there must be something which remains in doubt, and there must be something which is sure about certain things. So when we are sure about certain things, then take it, buddhi is operating. And when there is uncertainty about certain things, then manas is operating. Right? Manas is operating. Because manas imagines. When there is uncertainty, we are imagining things of different sorts rather than of one sort. One say whether it is a tree stump or a man. Right? Sthanu iti vrikshova. Is it a sthanu, a tree stump, or a sthanu, a manushova? Is it a sthanu, tree stump, or a man? In dark, for example. At that time of doubt, it's manas that is operating. And sankalpa vikalpatmakam mana. Right? And then he says, evam tatya tattvabhyasat nasmi name na aham iti aparishesham. Aparishesham means when nothing remains, that is entirely, in its entirety, in its completeness. Tattvabhyasad, when a yati, when a muni, monam arises from muni. Munis normally remain in mon. They speak less, they contemplate more. Right? They contemplate more. They meditate more. They speak less. Because it is said in the Shastras that speaking exhausts your energy more, while contemplation gives you energy. And surely this is right. At least this person gets exhausted by speaking. Right? Nasmi. And then you say, na asmi. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not this body. Naham. I'm not this body. I'm not this indriyas. I'm not this manas. I'm not this buddhi. Because I'm a witness of all of them. Because I'm a witness of all of them. If if I witness the dance of Prakriti, that means I'm a witness, but I am not the dancer. I'm only a witness. Yes, I wrongly think that I'm involved in the dance, that I'm a bhokta, that I'm an enjoyer of the dance. In fact, I'm not. So that means there is a moment of, why moment? So many lives of self-forgetfulness. Self-forgetfulness. I keep on forgetting my true nature. My true nature. And this element becomes later on dominant, become Kashmir Shaivism, Pratyabhigya Darshan. Right? When there is a recognition of oneself as oneself. Normally I take myself as a body. Or I take myself, oh Indriyas, sense organs see. No, I am seeing. That means I am identifying myself with my Indriyas. Oh, who had determinative knowledge? Certain knowledge. I have determinative knowledge. While it is in fact determinative knowledge belongs to buddhi. That means gradually and gradually I free myself from all those things with which I had identified myself up to now. Name, naham, name, they don't belong to me. Nasmi, I am not them. Name, they are not mine. Naham, and I am not Prakriti. Iti aparishesham. Iti aparishesham. When this jnana arises in its entirety, aviparjayat, vishuddham kevalam utpaddate jnanam. So aviparjayat, utpaddate, kevalam utpaddate jnanam, arises, kevalam jnanam, vishuddham, vishuddha and keval jnana arises, aviparjayat, when I am not mistaken. From jnana abhavat. Jnana abhav abhavat. Jnana abhav abhavat. Right? Viparjaya is jnana bhav, or the opposite of jnana. Aviparyasat, from the opposite of viparjaya. That is from knowledge. So why express this in particular sense? He says, my mistake, which consists in having misidentified myself with all these things, comes to a stop. Therefore he says, aviparyasa is reversed. My mistake becomes reversed. Rather than saying jnana, he says aviparyasa. Mistake is corrected. The colossal blunder, the mammoth mistake that I make, when, though I am a self and pure consciousness, I identify myself with all that buddhi, manas, ahankar, indriyas and the body as such represent, then I become aware of myself as myself. I see myself. I live as if I am only a self of pure consciousness and have nothing to do with the body, though my body continues to be attached to me in a particular way so long as I am alive, so long as I retain my physical frame. Do you follow? Have some of you followed this point of view or not? Okay. Vishuddham kevalam. Yes, sir. Just a moment. Kevalam jnanam. Kevalam jnanam. Jnanam of aloneness. Pure jnana. Vishuddha, pure is vishuddha. Kevalam. It is isolated. Jnana of isolation. As I said, kevali bhavati. Purush becomes kevali. Alone. Isolated. Yes, madam. Yes.
You relate in which sense Kashmir Shaivism? And इसमें आपने कश्मीर शैविज्म को relate किया था.
No, it is only a sense. See, I tell you. When when I perceive myself, when I come to really see, really, authentically see myself as a self and not as a body, not as indriyas, not as antakaran, etc., etc., then I, as if, come to recognize myself. I take myself out of that confusion, that forgetfulness in which I remain snared. When I identify myself with those objects which do not belong to me, I become forgetful of myself. I become forgetful of myself. I do not know my true identity. It happens in anybody's life. Oh, I chose a wrong path. I chose a wrong path. And one turns to a path, it may be very worldly path. Oh, I actually should have taken music. I wrongly took commerce, BCom. I did BCom. Various people. Wittgenstein was, for example, an engineer. The philosopher Wittgenstein. But he took to philosophy. So he must have reflected that engineering was not his true profession, though he wrongly got into it. Right? It happens. It's like that. If we are mistaken, we forget about the true identity of the object we perceive. And if we are mistaken about ourselves, then we forget our true identity. Isn't it? So if we forget our true identity, naturally Pratyabhijna Darshan thought that when we come to realize our true identity is a kind of recognition. Pratyabhijna is a kind of recognition. Just as in Abhigyan Shakuntal, Dushyanta comes to recognize himself as the true husband of Shakuntala, which he had forgotten, which identity he had forgotten thanks to that man Durvasa's curse. Right? He had forgotten his identity. If you have read Abhigyan Shakuntal, it's a great work. Right? Udetipur, and then he says, Dushyanta says, when he meets Shakuntala in the heavens, in Maricha's ashram, cause and effect relationship, and Kalidas says, Udayan says, and Marich gives him his blessings. Udeti purvam kusumam tata phalam. Ghanodayah prag tadanantaram paya. Nimitta naimitikayorayam krama tava prasadasya purastu sampada. Udeti purvam kusumam. First comes kusum, flower. Tata phalam, thereafter fruit. Ghanodaya prag, meghoday. Udite meghoday, vrishtir bhavati. As the example was given. Ghanodaya prag, ghana udaya. The arising on the horizon in the sky of ghanas, of a cluster of clouds. Ghanodaya prag tadanantaram paya. And thereafter follows water in the form of rains. Nimitta naimitikayo rayam krama, ayam krama. This is the order of cause and effect. But in your case, all kinds of sampadas have come to us before you give your blessings. Before you give your blessings. Tava prasadasya purastu sampada. I have found everything even before you bless. Such is your splendor. I have found my son and my wife Shakuntala and my beloved Shakuntala. They are already before me. And then Marich Ashram, Marich blesses him. He said, I have found everything before you bless me. That is, blessing is normally supposed to be followed by something that you get. But I have already got. Tava prasadasya purastu sampada. Before you bless, The consequence of your blessing has come to me. I have attained. Tava prasadasya purastu sampada. So it's like that. Vishuddham kevalam utpaddate jnana. That is why there was a scholar called T.G. Mindkar, Professor T.G. Mindkar. He was a good scholar, and when he joined Delhi University, I had started teaching in a college. And when he joined Delhi University in around 67 or 8, I was some 23 years old. And when he joined Delhi University, he gave his first professorial lecture, and he read a paper. The paper was titled, I still remember because I attended that paper, The Identity of Kalidas. And on the basis of few verses, because he has also translated Gaudapad Bhashya on Īśvarakṛṣṇa's Sāṅkhyakārikā into English with notes and introduction. T.G. Mindkar, Gaudapad Bhashya. You can take it from market. This is Yuktidipika. There is another commentary, Gaudapad Bhashya. And this is translated into English by T.G. Mindkar. Triambaka Govinda Mindkar is a Maharashtrian name. So when I heard him, he tried to establish on the basis of some of these verses, some of these kārikās, tried to establish that Īśvarakṛṣṇa and Kalidas were the same person. That was his view. I'm not passing any judgment. I'm not passing any judgment because that is not my objective at the moment. That was just by the way. That Īśvarakṛṣṇa has gone so poetic here, right? That it made a scholar like Triambaka Govinda Mindkar to propose, to make the proposal that Īśvarakṛṣṇa and Kalidas were perhaps the same person. Then we move. Then I come to this. The next, what is the next? Samyak jnanadhigama dharmadinam akarana praptau tisthati sanskara vashat chakrabhramavadhrita sharira. Now comes an answer to your query, O lady, your query. There is no commentary on kārikās 65 and 66. There is no Yuktidīpikā commentary on kārikās 65 and 66. So he says, Samyak jnanadhikamat. After we have obtained Samyak jnana, Samyak, proper knowledge. Samyak means proper, jnana. And Samyak jnana is viveka jnana. Satya purushanyata kshati. Yoga calls it jnana. Or viveka, viveka jnana. Samyak jnana. What is the meaning of samyak jnana in Sāṅkhya and Yoga? The yoga term is, yoga expression is sattva. Sattva means buddhi. Buddhi and purush. Buddhi and purush. Anyata means bhed, distinction, difference. Difference between buddhi and purush. That buddhi is material, it was Buddhist dance and I am different. Sattva purusha anyata kshati means jnana. This is kshati means jnana. Viveka jnana is the same thing. Discriminative knowledge. Discriminate self from prakriti. Distinguish between self and prakriti. Right? So this is Sattva Purusha Anyata Kshati. This is not included. This is I'm using only to provide a synonym for khyati. Khyati means jnana, or viveka khyati, as is sometimes called viveka khyati. Viveka khyati. Viveka jnana, or discriminative knowledge. Yes. Now he says, Samyak jnanadikamat. Samyak jnana, after attaining samyak jnana, discriminative knowledge, dharmadinam akarana praptau. Dharmadi, etc., become irrelevant. They cause nothing. They do not cause a second birth, another birth. Akarana praptau. When it happens, when this contingency happens, when these situations happens, that dharmadi, etc., do not lead to the existence of a second birth, another birth, right? They're all exhausted. Tishtati sanskara vachat. At that time, dhita sharira, the body, the liberated self is bearing. The body that the liberated self bears after apavarga prapti. Tishtati, stays on, persists for some time. Sanskara vashat chakra brahmavat. Because of the sanskaras, because of the momentum which it gained when it was born, because of that momentum, or because of the momentum of the sanskaras which are now exhausted, because of that momentum, it stays on for a while, chakra brahmavat, like the movement, revolving movement of a wheel. Like a potter's wheel. Potter's wheel. You move a wheel and you take your hand away. The wheel keeps on moving for some time, though you have taken your hand away. So though the self has become liberated, but the physical body continues for some time because of the previous momentum. Right? Chakra brahmavat, sanskara vashat, because of the earlier sanskaras. He says, Yuktidipika says, Yaha sharir antaro parjita dharmadiyo natavat karanam. That the dharmadi, etc., which come to us because of another body, sharir antaro parjita dharmadiyo natavat karanam. Buddhim upassam prapta akritarthatvat. There is some misprint here. Buddhischa pradhanam tada tishtati ayam nanatvadarshi tasya sanskarasya samarthadarshi. Nanatva ayam, just a moment. I think this addition has some defect. Sharirantar means ajnana kalik sharir. That the body, our own body, which was a receptacle, which was recipient of ajnana, which was the residence for ajnana. When jnana arises, so our body ceases to be a resident of that ajnana, and therefore our dharma and adharma, if they remain at all, do not lead to the arising of, to the existence of, to the acquirement of any other rebirth. And if there is no need for a rebirth, that means the self has become liberated. Where does the self go? We do not know. We do not know. But it must be the case that any number of selves remain liberated. को दृष्टांता चक्र भ्रमिव धृत शरीरा कुंभकार प्रयत्न विशिष्टेन दंडेन घटादि निष्पत्ति योग्य क्रिया चक्रस्य भ्रमा. What is the meaning of chakravasya bhrama? Movement of the wheel. Kumbhakara prayatna vishishtena. Because of the special effort of the kumbhakara, of the potter. Dandena, 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 stick. Ghatadi nispatti yogya kriya. To generate in the wheel an activity which is capable of producing a pot, you move the wheel. And when you move the wheel, even when you have withdrawn your stick, it keeps on moving. It's like that. Tena tulyam chakra brahmavat. Yatha chakra brahmanam ghatartham. And just as the movement of the wheel is meant for the production of a ghata, निष्पन्ने घटे पूर्व संस्कार अनुरोधात् निवर्तते, and after it has moved a while it departs, the movement leaves the wheel. नचतदा निवृत्तम इति कृत्वा संसार क्षयेपि अवतिष्ठते. नचतदा निवृत्तम इति कृत्वा संसार क्षयेपि अवतिष्ठते. Similarly, when the sanskaras have been exhausted, does the body though it does not immediately leave the body, though it does not immediately leave the soul, it leaves the soul after liberation has been achieved. That means, to put it succinctly, that the liberated self remains in the same body for some while, and then the body departs. And with that comes the end of the linga sharira, sukshma sharira also. Because with the exhaustion of the karmas, sukshma sharira has nothing to stay on. It ceases to be a picture which needs to be hanged. Right? एवं सम्यक दर्शनार्थम शरीरम सम्यक ज्ञानादिगमेपि न निवर्तते पूर्व संस्कार वशात् न च तदा निवृत्तमिति कीत्वा संसार क्षयेपि अवस्थाप्यते इति. And now, and then next kārikā is also good. And प्राप्ते शरीर भेदे सरितार्थत्वात् प्रधान विनिवृत्तौ ऐकांतिकम आत्यंतिकम उभयम कैवल्यम आपनोति. Look at the kārikā. Prapte sharira bhede, when the body is gone. Sharira bhede, sharira nashe. Prapte, when sharira nash arrives, that is when body dies. Charitarthatvat pradhana vinivrittau. Charitarthatvat, as if its aim has been achieved. Charita arthatvat. Charit means accomplished. As if its aim has been accomplished. Whose aim? Prakriti's aim. What is that aim? To realize the ends of Purusha, Bhoga and Apavarga. Bhoga had been provided to Purush earlier, and then Purush reflects and thinks that it has to distinguish itself from everything which it is not. Right? Charitartatva pradhana vinivrittau. And then pradhana dancer, the dancer called Prakriti, vinivritta, nivritta, departs. from the stage, from the stage, from the entire auditorium, which consists of so many bound and liberated selves. So the whole world is an aggregate of selves, some bound, some liberated, or some going to be liberated, like चरितार्थत्वात् प्रधान विनिवृत्तौ एकांतिकम आत्यंतिकम उभयम कैवल्यम आपनोति. And then he says two kinds of kaivalya it attains. Atyantikam, atyantik kaivalya. Earlier also we have seen atyantikam, aikantikam. When dukkhatraya vighata jigyasa tadapaghātake hetau. What follows the second line? Dukkhatraya vighata. Jigyasa tadapaghātake hetau. हाँ दृष्टे चेद अपार्थाते नैकांता कंततो भावा, नैकांता कंततो भावा. Here also aikantic and atyantic words over. Atyantic means, atyantic kaivalya means forever, and aikantic means must, which must come. Atyantic means which must come, right? If I speak and the audience is there before me, somebody must listen my words. Like that. There must be somebody who will listen to my words, whether he likes my words or not. Like, if people have come to a theater to watch a film, there must be some people who must watch the film continuously. Isn't it? Similarly, kaivalya comes. It must come. It must come. Nobody can stop it. It is inevitable. And then, purusharthartamidam guhyam paramarshina samakshyatam. What is that? Purushartham jnanam idam guhyam paramarshina samakshyatam sthitutpatti pralaya chintanta yatra bhutanam. He says, Purushartham jnanam idam guhyam. This jnana is guhya, is mysterious, is very profound, and it is rahasya. Rahasya. I don't know how to translate this word. Rahasya. Can you give me a word, Shankar Sahib? Rahasya. Not mysterious. Rahasya is this jnana which unravels the secret of the world, which reveals the secret of the world. This jnana. Paramarshina samakshatam. Paramarshina kapilena samakshatam. It has been propounded, it has been given to us. It has been explained to us by Kapila Muni, Kapil Maharshina, Samakshatam, Paramarshina, Sthiti Utpatti Pralaya Chintante Yatra Bhutanam, which knowledge contemplates the sthiti, the coming into being, the sthiti and pralay and dissolution of the world. There are three conditions to the world. It comes into being, it stays for some time, and then it dissolves back. So, these are the ultimate concerns of man. Philosophy is an ultimate concern, right? It's an ultimate concern. Like Paul Tillich, the famous theologian thinker, he was a Protestant in his systematic theology, 2 volumes. He says, what is religion? He says, religion is an ultimate concern. And St. Thomas used to say, St. Thomas Aquinas, when a philosopher is let loose on the earth, gods in the heaven tremble, that now he might ask ultimate questions. Right? And those ultimate questions can unnerve the gods. Just as here the gods, when they get unnerved by Vishwamitra's tapasya, they try to cause impediment to it and send somebody called Menaka. Right? They tremble. Yes. So it's like everywhere else. And St. Thomas also entertains the notion of angels, gods, in the mid-heaven, between earth and the highest gods, angels. And then we have this etat pavitram agryam muni asuraye nukampaya pradedau. Etat pavitram agryam first. Agryam means first and foremost. Muni asuraye anukampaya pradedau. This shastra, this foremost shastra was given out of compassion by the Muni Kapil to Asuri, Pradedau. He gave it to Asuri. And then Asuri api pancha shikhaye. Asuri gave it to Panchashikha. Tena cha bahudha kritam tantram. And Panchashikha explained the word, bahudha kritam, publicized it. Bahudha kritam. He made it public. Just a moment. Let me see what is the commentary saying on the word bahudha. Yes, bahudha kritam. He publicized it, just like Janak, Vasishtha, etc. adopted it. So, according to Īśvarakṛṣṇa's Sāṅkhyakārikā, the king Janak, etc., they were the adopters. They were the adopters, the followers. Followers or adopters. I don't know what to say about it. But they adopted the Sankhya teaching. So Sankhya teaching is that old. And everywhere in the Sanskrit philosophical literature, whether be it Puranas or strictly Shastriya literature, Shastras, Maharshi Kapil is looked at with great respect, with great esteem. And now we came to then this Paurakarshi. This line is slightly, is defective, so I won't do it. Īśvarakṛṣṇa chaitad arya bhi sankshiptam arya matina. Īśvarakṛṣṇa, with his pure intellect, abbreviated the whole knowledge. Chaitad arya bhi, in arya meter, right? In 70 kārikās. Arya means arya meter, kārikās in arya meter. This is an arya meter, right? Therefore, arya bhi sankshiptam arya matina, or out of compassion. Out of compassion for other living beings. Samyak vigyaya siddhantam, having first understood the teaching in a proper way. Sankshiptam, he abbreviated. He first learned the teaching in a proper way and then abbreviated it, put it succinctly and briefly in the 70 kārikās. In the 70 kārikās, I am sorry to utter the word 70 kārikās. Saptatyam kilajirtha tirtha krishnasya shashti tantrasya. All these saptatyam means this saptati. which consists of 70 kārikās. Ye artha, whichever things are discussed, ye artha, whichever concerns are addressed, whichever issues are discussed, whichever problems are raised, te artha Krishnasya Shashti Tantrasya, those issues, those concerns belong to the whole Shashti Tantra of Panchashikha. Right? And then he says, Akshayika Virahita. Why does he say Akshayika Virahita? Akshayika Virahita perhaps means explanation, exposition. Akshayika Virahita. I'm not expositing, I'm only abbreviating. I'm not enunciating, I'm not explaining. Like, for example, Shankaracharya explains the sutras, right? Akshayika Virahita. They contain no explanation, but a mere mention of the tenets which were enshrined in Shashti Tantra and touch upon those very 60 objects. Parvada Vivarjitasta, and I have nobody's point of view to contest. I have no Purva Paksha. Though in Indian philosophical literature there is always a Purva Paksha. Some questions and queries are raised from the Purva Paksha side. This Purva Paksha may be a friendly inquirer or a hostile inquirer. He may be a Shatru or he may just be an inquirer who raises a query. Well, I have not understood the meaning of this. Please explain, like that. And Yuktidipika does that on behalf of Īśvarakṛṣṇa. So what Īśvarakṛṣṇa refrained from doing, Yuktidipika does. Yuktidipika performs. Thank you very much. And now, you know, I'll just relate this. What Yuktidipikā says, because there is still time. Sfuta videya madhura api bharati manishino no pakhalam virajate krishanu garbha prabhibto himagame kadushtatam jati divakaradyuti nayanti santascha yata svasaktito gunam paresham tanumattu daretam iti prayatnesha mamashamasatam vicharana nugraha matra patratam. Right? Mamashama. Yuktidipika, author of Yuktidipika says, Mama Shama. As I mentioned in my on the inaugural day, Mama Shama. This is the only thing that the author of Yuktidipika says about himself. Mama Shama. Let my labor, let my effort. And I hope that this little effort on the part of this little man will bear some fruit among those who have been associated with me for a week. Thank you very much.